Social media is infested with all these calls to create freedom and screw the 9 to 5 and make the leap. It doesn't work that way, not when you're a director, VP, executive, and you've got all these responsibilities on your plate. Instead, I'm going to show you what it means to graduate corporate and make corporate optional. In particular, what your new life looks like on a Tuesday. So much of what I see online disgusts me. It's these wildly fictitious notions of always living on a beach. Maybe you've got that rented Lambo. This pure highlight reel of what your new life looks like after leaving corporate. No, it's not this whole idea of quitting in a blaze of glory and everything is magically wonderful. No, there's so much nuance involved in making that move from a corporate past to your founder future. Let me break it down so you understand how the day is different and what it looks like in that transition. Now, if your days look anything like mine used to look like in corporate life, it kind of looks like Skittles vomited all over your calendar, all these small little calendar blocks, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and color coded so that you can maintain some sort of sanity in the chaos. I knew I couldn't. Fact is, I used to wear that as a badge of honor. Looking back, it's a pretty sickening feeling. I'd say, look how busy I am, family. Look how much I've got going on. Ooh, I want the opposite of that now. That's not success. Now, before I show you exactly how to change up your Tuesday for the better and make it corporate optional, if we haven't met before, I'm Matt Doan. I'm the founder of Corporate Graduation, helped over 170 directors, VPs, and executives make the move from corporate dependent to corporate optional, which is exactly what we're going to dive into here today. It's moving as part of a unit, as you can see here. This is one of our latest retreats where we're bringing these people together, first-time founders, moving as a tribe and actually building their founder future together. And what we're going to show you is not the fantasy, but the real Tuesday that emerges as you release corporate life the right way. And just to make it clear, these are very real people we're talking about. Todd with decades in cybersecurity, Cole with decades in IT program management, Harsh with deep expertise in engineering and AI, Sherlyn consulting and organizational change management, Andrew, deep expertise in Workday and technical implementation of large systems. All of these people are now living the Tuesday they wanted, not the one that was handed to them for decades. Now, making this new Tuesday come to life, it's going to take a lot of particular work, and I want to set you up for success. So number one, I want you to see where you stand. Take the corporate graduation diagnostic. You can find it here at diagnostic.corporategraduation.com. Take 3 minutes after this video or check the notes in the description and you'll see exactly how to do that just to see how ready you are to move from corporate to founder. And two, just to make sure you subscribe to this channel for much more in-depth strategy, tactic, mindset work on actually how do you move from corporate to your founder future the right way. Now, when I say corporate optional, I want you to understand the careful nuance of why I use that language. I don't say leap. I don't say screw the 9 to 5. I don't say just generally build freedom. There's a lot of specific elements you need to get right. So let's say you're still in corporate life right now. What does it mean to actually make corporate optional? Well, number one, you make your employer your investor. You turn it into a short-term asset. You make sure that it covers down on things like benefits, health insurance. You maintain simple control of it. It doesn't own you anymore. Maybe you're running it at 4 to 5 hours a day max, knowing that it's an investor in your future. It's become your side business. It is not your primary venture anymore. Now, on the other end, maybe you're out of corporate for whatever reason. You left or they said, we're parting ways, whatever it might be. You are now all in on your new venture. You are now into your founder future. You are no longer needing a paycheck. The founder exists. Now, at the core of it, no matter if you're in corporate right now, which is an option, you can keep a job. About half my clients maintain a job. Or you could be out of corporate at this moment. To make corporate optional, hear me very clearly. You want to make sure that you operate as that founder in control, that you know how to structure your days, that you can build a unique and premium business where you are a founder. You are not a coach. You are not a consultant. You're not a fractional executive. All those things masquerade and actually are another job. A founder builds a remarkable product that solves a very unmet need in this world, and that thing can scale and build an entire new life. And at the core is a new you. Because as we always say around here, first comes the founder, then comes the business. So corporate optional, whether you're in, whether you're out, those are the commonalities. The founder exists, the business is building, and you are in control, calm, peaceful, and everything in your life gets better as a byproduct of you being this way. This is what most people miss. About half the people I work with keep their corporate job. That might surprise you. When I say corporate graduation means making it optional. You don't need it anymore. You might continue to run with it for another 12 to 24 months because it is that short-term asset. It's an investor. It covers down because it's become easy, simple. It's no longer eating away at you, making you stressed and anxious. When you learn to do the work and actually compress it into something that's under your control, which takes real skill, that is the great opportunity. And they maintain it not because they're scared to leave. It's because it's a very smart funding that they'll get for the next year or two. Now, you want to get to the point where you can release it, obviously. Full corporate graduation means at some point you release the job, or whether it gets released for you, you are good either way. That's the point where corporate is optional. That's what we're getting to. In effect, you want to make your day job become your side hustle. It's nothing more than that. It's secondary. It's not your primary thing. Now that you've got the context in mind, let me show you exactly what your new Tuesday should look like once you've made corporate optional. First, you start with the founder. We take the morning, a sample way that this might unfold. You wake before the world, and you should train yourself into this. If you aren't a morning person, it's just because you haven't trained yourself to do that. A lot of my clients will work through doing deep breath work, reading a chapter of a book, journaling, which is essentially our secret weapon for making sure we can set our intentions for the day, clear the emotions in our way. Then you might get out there in the world, some fresh air, movement, some really good coffee. I can't start a great day without amazing coffee. And then maybe you're helping your family out the door. That's how you're setting your intention. You're not reactive. Notice we are not opening up Slack or email or anything that can destroy our stillness, destroy the intention that we are setting for the day. Then you can move to founder work. Take a couple hours at that point. Still no Slack, no email, no Teams. We're not going to move on corporate work if we have a job right now till about 10 a.m. Now, suspend your disbelief. You might think that's not possible, but I do it with my clients all the time. You need to understand at the core, your best energy needs to go to your most important work. And this is building your founder future. And when I say that, we are 1, building the founder, and 2, building the business. Those are the two components of building your founder future, you and the business. Without those two things, there's no founder future. Now let's go a little bit deeper into that Tuesday. Okay, the corporate window has started. What we're doing is taking the job and making it compressed. Again, I'm showing you the version of if you have a job. If you don't have a job right now, I'd show you a slightly modified version so that you understand the sequence of what you need to do day by day in order to build out your founder business. But if you do have a job, we'd want to say logging on about 10 a.m. Again, you might not think that's possible right now, but I'll tell you all the way up to C-suite executives and VPs that do this all the time, it is quite possible. So we want to log on. And at this point, we are switching from any personal device over to a corporate device. We are having a hard firewall in our life so that we're not letting corporate stuff hit our mind. We want to have personal devices and we want to have corporate devices. If some of them are one and the same, like a phone, you need to have app blockers and ways so that work stuff like Slack and Teams can't hit your mind and ruin your rhythm and ruin your flow. So after that, you might log onto the corporate device and move straight into an hour of deep work. Maybe you're doing a report, working up a new framework for your team's capability, developing a sales strategy so you hit your quotas for this upcoming quarter. Then at that point, with that deep work in motion, of course, you need to engineer all of this. You might then take a walking Zoom. Okay, you're off camera, you're getting your steps in. We can move anywhere to like 8 to 10K steps per day as our vital target for ourselves. Then you might move into something like a nice lunch while listening to a podcast about founders or corporate graduation or whatever it needs to pull you into your founder future. You're doing it under your own design. You're not rushed. You're actually taking in new ideas and energy that are good for the new build. Then you might have a 90-minute, 2-hour block of direct report meetings, client window stuff, admin meetings. Again, you want to make sure that you're using your seniority at the director, VP, executive level. You've got seniority. You've got political capital to spend. You've got to learn to use it. Again, there's a whole lot of engineering work that goes behind this. This looks simple, but I'm showing you the result. I'm not showing you the work that made it true. There's a lot of work that we call corporate compression. Now, let's say you then log out of your corporate environment by 2 p.m. You've effectively run a schedule of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, the engineering work needs to happen to make sure this is a reality. But the reality is you've done 4 clean hours of corporate life times 4 to 5 days. You're operating at 16 to 20 hours of corporate life. And in doing this, your mind starts clearing and you start being more at peace and at ease with all of this. Now, then we get to later in the afternoon. We switch back to Founder again. You get back to your Founder environment. This might look like logging into your personal machine again, flipping on your AI of choice, connecting to it through your phone so that you can go on walk and talks and not be tethered to the actual laptop itself. Corporate doesn't follow you here. You understand that at this point, we don't have the pings and dings and notifications happening in corporate life. That's firewalled away from us. Now, at this point at 3 o'clock, you might have a one-on-one with your coach. You are clarifying the month ahead, doing a retro and how things have been going, getting strategic, tactical mindset feedback so that you're really moving forward at light speed. You might also be interacting with some of your peers in your program so that you're getting peer feedback or calling them up and actually having an accountability meeting with them, whatever it takes. And then maybe at the end of the day, you close it out with a long brainstorm walk. You separate from all the inputs. You flip on dictation mode on your phone and you go on a long walk, just letting out all the ideas in your head, brainstorming, just getting out there all the thoughts, the dreams. Maybe you're working on your positioning, a new product. You're working to get creative on how to further compress your corporate job because you know you need to. Whatever it might be, that's the work. So notice the pattern, right? Morning is for Founder. Then we do some corporate work and then we go back to Founder. I'd like you wrapping by 5 p.m. at the latest. At that point, we're there with family. We're dialed in. Maybe we're going to the gym. We are firewalled off from the old chaotic life of Skittle vomits on our calendar, and we're actually in control running it this way. It's a nice compressed schedule. So notice none of this happens alone. People are doing the foundational work to clear their emotions, facing their fears, rewriting stories that are in their head around, oh, the job is so demanding. It's so hard. I can't step back. No, that's a story. That is not a fact. That is a story in your mind, a belief that if challenged, a whole new world could open up. We need to re-engineer things like, what do we do to get away from so many live meetings, daily stand-ups? How do we re-engineer our processes at work? How do we make it more async? How do we reduce the number of interactions that need to happen? How do we compress them? How do you do handoff? How do you delegate, defer, delete things that don't need to exist? Ultimately, how do you get to the point of reducing fake work? I'll tell you, the average amount of work you're doing right now is about 80% fake work. If you really boil it down and map it to strategic objectives, 80% of the energy and time that you're putting into a corporate job does not map to real work. It does not map to actual strategic objectives that gets measured and people get bonused on. Fake work is a huge culprit. When you learn to re-engineer it and actually get it out of the way, a whole new world opens up. So when you actually bring this to life, what actually happens, okay? Corporate optional means, in this new sort of Tuesday, you still get paid. The paycheck keeps coming for some period of time. Maybe you want to hold on to it for another 12 to 24 months, a short-term strategy to fund the build out of your new business, to buy you more space and give you psychological peace along the way. In doing so, this idea of scarcity increases honor and respect. Read the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Respect goes up for you the harder you are to reach. If you're always available, if you're always green on Slack or Teams, guess what? You are treated with less respect because you're always there. You understand that you're seen as a commodity because you're always available. Don't be that person. You want to set hard boundaries. You want to use your seniority to protect the window. Use your political capital. You've been building it for decades at this point. We need to cash it in. Use it in the remaining months that you're still in the job. Squeeze all the juice out of this corporate lemon to maximize what's available. You've earned it. Learn to engineer it accordingly. You want to make yourself less available because then you're more respected and then you're more at peace and in control. That's the whole game in making corporate optional. That's what it looks like on a Tuesday. The beautiful thing, a part of this corporate graduation work, the rest of your life gets better too. Your evenings come back, your health gets better, your marriage improves, you get more connected with your kids. This is the byproduct of getting control of all of this and making corporate optional and making this Tuesday your new Tuesday. So I want you to zoom out. You do this work for a while. At month 1, you're calmer. The engineering work starts to make this come to life. You take a hard look at your environment. You do the audits. You start to make hard decisions. The job is compressed. It's not so daunting. It doesn't bleed into all the parts of your day. And the founder now exists. The new version of you is installed. You've built that version of you. You're operating that way. You believe this is all possible. You build the founder first, then the business follows. Understand that sequence. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying to you. Run from that. Then at one point, you release the job whenever you're ready. It might be in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. That's up to you, but you want corporate to be optional. But the reality exists that the founder's there. You're already in motion. All is good. You've built this founder future. You have a choice. You can stay in Skittle Vomit over here, or you can choose the corporate optional path over here. And again, if you're not in a job right now, we retool it a little bit differently. Same principles apply. You want corporate to be optional. Whether you have a job, whether you don't, doesn't matter. You don't want to need it. You want to get to a place where you stop renting your life. You start to own it. This is truly the Tuesday you want. This is the deep dive view to say, am I on track? If this is how your Tuesday unfolds, you know you're going in the right direction, but you want to make sure you have the conditions for this to all be true. So we've made it this far. Now I want to show you the full view. I've given you the snippets. I want you to take a look at this video up here. It's the full corporate graduation blueprint, the full design of everything you need to know and do to release your corporate past and build your founder future in 1 year or less. I'll see you over there.